Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us here on Midday Kentucky. I'm joined now by Barry Stilz, partner at Kinkead and Stilz. We wanted to bring you in today to talk about how we can wrap up the year with different legalities we might be facing. So thank you for taking the time to come in today.
Well, thank you for having me on, Katie. I appreciate it.
So coming from a lawyer's perspective, talk to us about some of maybe the legal issues you may encounter or things people might be dealing with as we wrap up the year.
Several things,
Okay.
such as primarily from an employee standpoint, a lot of employers like to do their year-end reviews and give bonuses and raises this time of year. We advise people to make it fair, make it a fair system, come up with a fair system if you're an employer. And like Will Ferrell was told in old school, keep it in the tree of trust. Let the employee be open and honest with you in any review that you have of them.
Okay.
Have an interview with them. Bring them in, let them tell you, you tell them what their strengths and weaknesses were for that past year, and let them have an opportunity to tell you what they see the entity can improve on going forward.
Oh, okay. Some other things we might be encountering: holiday parties, things like that, work get-togethers.
Right.
From a legal standpoint, what do people need to keep in mind, or what are you maybe dealing with?
In today's climate, with sexual harassment claims fairly rampant, with holiday parties, you got to kind of watch your P's and Q's with these parties. Have a good time, but don't go over the top. Don't cross lines. Remember that it is still a business setting that you're in, and don't let people feel the need because they've had some alcohol to go over the edge. And if that does happen, as an employer, remember that was caused by alcohol, and that probably was not that person's intent. And also, when having parties and stuff like that and serving alcohol to people, you have to be mindful of don't overindulge someone. DUIs, all kinds of things that people can lead to, and wrecks and.
So if we have anyone watching at home that maybe is a small business owner or a large business owner, but you're throwing a party, do you need to keep that in mind? Could you be liable in any way for people driving after or drinking? What are you really responsible for in that setting?
You could. I'm not going to say that you couldn't or you
Okay.
or you could, but all it takes is $150 for somebody to sue someone.
Okay.
And find a lawyer to do that. And there's plenty of lawyers that will sue over something like that, and sue the employer because they allowed that person to become intoxicated. They'll claim that they knew that they were intoxicated. One good tip is if you have a decently sized party, have a caterer and they have certified bartenders, and those certified bartenders should be kind of allowed to cut people off if they need to.
Okay, so that's a good way to monitor what's
Yes.
happening there. For other small business owners here watching at home, do you have any tips of things they need to deal with before the year's end, or things that may be coming up now?
Tons.
Okay.
A lot of tax issues, and
Okay.
especially with what's coming up now. You probably heard in Washington, they're talking about revamping
Right.
and totally overhauling the tax laws in this country. What that will look like, I don't know because it hasn't been passed yet. But I would probably, if I was a small business owner, I would encourage you to talk and have an open and frank discussion with your lawyer, your accountant, whatever, to plan for the future. There are certain things, especially a self-employed person can do. There's talk of an elimination going forward of the state and local tax exemption on the federal level. One thing that we've been talking to some of our clients are, if you have the cash, the available cash, go ahead and make your deduction or your estimated payment that's normally due on January 15th in 2017, so you know what the tax laws are now.
Oh, that's an important tip.
Yeah, and also you need to also know that when you were making estimates, you were making it on what last year's income was, and if your income has increased significantly, you may have a tax hit coming. So it's key to plan and have a conversation with your lawyer and your accountant.
Well, thank you so much for coming into
Well,
a
thank you
lot of
for having
important
us.
information for employees and employers to keep in mind. Let's put all the information up on the screen. You can go over to Kinkead and Stilz to find all this information on their website. They also have a Facebook page. Thanks again for taking the time.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you for having us on.
We'll send things to break now, but up next, we're back in the kitchen with Allison Davis. She has a sweet cream cheese cupcake recipe. Stay tuned.